Check it out, colored solar panels. Colored solar panels. Colored solar... you get the point. So these are from a company called Bearvolt. They're brand new to the market. They're actually a Kickstarter at the moment. And they asked if I would like to take a look at these new colored solar panels, which I've never seen any before, so why not? Now these new solar panels are using the latest technology, so they should be pretty efficient. They're brand new, so we'll have to see how well they do. We'll take them out and test them. But these are only 90 watts, and then they have these smaller ones. These are only about 17 or 18, and what's kind of odd is that the color actually changes the output a little bit, which is a little weird, but only like by a couple watts at most. So we're gonna test these, but I'll tell you a little bit more about them. Bearvolt's new solar panels utilize N-type and also TOPCon technology. Utilizing half-cut cells, they also use 16 bus bars, which is the most amount you'll see in new solar panels. Bearvolt offers 4 colors as fire orange, a navy blue, also a magenta, and this royal purple. Bearvolt also offers these smaller solar panels, which these are really designed to kind of help fill in the gaps when doing a sprinter build. This way you can get the most amount of solar on your roof. Okay, so I got the panels all set up, ready to go. They've been out here for about 20 minutes soaking up the sun, that way they can get warmer. A heated panel is going to put out less watts than one that is just put out here, then it's cold and it's going to gradually warm up. So it's good to let your panels kind of get heat soaked first, then we'll go ahead and test them with a couple different meters to make sure it's all accurate, and we'll see just how well they do. And just to make sure we're meeting STC standards, we want to make sure we're getting 1,000 watts meter square of light. And pretty soon we should be right about 1100 as the sun continues to move. So we're just about there. And the temperature right now is just around 75. Okay, now that these have been out here for a little while, so this purple one says 87 watts is our Pmax. And our open circuit voltage is 19.95. We're getting right around 18.62 volts. So we're going to use this new EcoFlow Delta 3 Plus. We're going to use this to put a load on it so we can see how many watts we get out of this. So we'll hook it up real quick. All right, and as we take a look, right around 70 watts is what we're getting there. Hopefully you can see that. There you go. So 70 watts out of this purple one. And what's odd is that, or maybe not odd, but I guess different, each one of these panels has kind of a different rating just slightly due to the colors. So we'll see if we see any real differences between the colors. Okay, now this is the red panel. So take a look at our open circuit voltage here, right around 18.63, so pretty consistent. And now as we take a look at the red one, pretty much the same, 71, 72. This one is just slightly higher as I watch it by about 1, maybe 2 watts. So not too much difference on the color. We'll go ahead and try the royal blue. And open circuit voltage for this one, 18.79, so a little higher. So we'll plug this in, see what we get. And blue, look at that, coming in just slightly higher, 70, well, back down to 1, but been mainly staying 73, 74, so just slightly higher. It's kind of odd that the colors do play a slight difference, but that's also, I mean, that could be variation just in panels in general, because you could make 100 different panels and they could all be different by slightly, you know, 1, 2, 3, 5 watts, but so far right about 74. Okay, now this orange one was actually damaged from what they told me, so they said that the performance is actually going to be less. So far the open circuit voltage isn't really that much different, 18.62. So, and the orange one now plugged in, and yeah, check that out, just a little bit less. We're at 55, so obviously something happened with this one, but they did tell me, so that's good. At least they were honest about that. Said, hey, by the way, the orange one doesn't perform as well because of, I don't know if it was damage or if they tweaked it, or I don't see anything physical on it, but who knows. So overall, these 3 tested just fine, so at least they're really consistent. Okay, so I had to do a little reconfiguring just because there is quite a bit of wind today, and I almost lost one of these. So I got rid of the orange one because it's not working as well, but we're going to put all 3 of these into series and do some shade testing. We'll do a single one first and then see how well they do together, because the new N-type and TOPCon panels are better for heat resistance, not to mention just better output consistently, but these also have bypass diodes in them, so we'll see if they do better than a traditional solar panel, which normally in series, if you shade one, they pretty much all go down. So we'll see how well it affects it. Okay, so right now it's just the blue one, right about 74, 75 still, and we'll go shade just a little bit of that one. And we're just hitting a sliver of about 1 cell, so we'll see where that drops. And come over here, about 65, 66 roughly, so not bad so far with about a half a cell, a third of a cell covered. Okay, now we have about one full cell covered. We'll see how far it drops. And there we go, down to about 16 roughly, so. And now there's 2 cells, and because it's going to be hitting 2 sections, depending on how this works, it'll probably kill it mostly, so we'll see how they have this wired. And, well, not too bad, 6 or 7, you're still getting something out of it. Let's just try a little different. Okay, so that's 3 cells right now, just in kind of one string, and we'll see how well there's some power coming out of that. Yeah, pretty much dead, about 3. Now we'll just run it along the bottom, and more than likely that'll pretty much kill the panel because depending on how it's wired. All right, so look at that, still getting about 16 or so with the 3 on the bottom shaded. And we'll add the grubby trash can and kind of see what it does with about a third of the panel shaded. And that right there pretty much kills it. So, which, you know, typical for, you know, a single solar panel. Let's see how well they do with 3 of them all connected in series. Okay, so all 3 of these are now in series. And look at our wattage, 235. So actually, this is better wattage with all 3 of them combined, 236. I mean, if you were to divide that by the 3 panels, instead of the 71, 72, 74 we're getting out of the blue, we're now kind of getting about 78, roughly, if we were to divide that by 3. So yeah, divided by 3, 77, 78 or so. So that actually kind of brings them up a little bit, so that's actually not bad. Okay, so let's just hit 1 cell. There's half of 1 on 1 panel. Okay, so from the 235, about 160, 165, give or take. Okay, 2 cells on 1 panel. Yeah, look at that. So look how that drops off. Okay, so that wipes it out a lot depending on how these get shaded. All right, so now 3 cells along the bottom. All right, so not too bad. I mean, we still got 2 panels. So almost 2 panels still running at full. So that would be 140 roughly. Okay, so now we're doing, 2.5 cells in the middle. And actually, look at that, not bad, 180. So we're still getting a decent chunk out of the purple one, even though 2.5 cells are still shaded. Let's cover up all 3. Okay, so there we go. That's a pretty big chunk. We got 3 cells plus a little bit on the other ones. I assume that'll probably kill that one completely. Oh, actually, look at that, 180. So, okay, cool. So actually not too bad so far as our shade test, because normally that'll really kill your output. There's got to be, let's try that. That's got to kill that, because if it's hitting both sides, depending on how they have this wired. Nope, actually not bad. Look at that, 180 still, huh? All right, kind of change it up a little bit more, and for fun, let's try this. Look at that. Wow, cool. So it's almost like being wired in parallel since they do have the bypass diodes in there. So much better technology, you know, that they're coming out with on all these new solar panels. Pretty much most of the new stuff you're going to see is going to be N-type. They're going to be TopCon, so definitely helps with your output. Okay, now we'll get shade on pretty much half of that panel. I'm assuming since we're covering 3 in a row sideways, still doing pretty well. That's good. Okay, now we're going to take out 2 panels. I'm assuming this should pretty much give us, if this was normal older solar panels with 3 in series, this would pretty much knock down your output to probably 5 or 10 watts. All right, look at that. Still getting at least 30. That's not bad. Okay, out of the camping chair. So now that we got both of those covered, both of these covered, technically this should be dead. So let's find out. And yeah, there we go. Okay, so, you know, overall, the shading on these actually do pretty good. Yeah, I'm back over to 235. So overall, though, not bad for the shading on these. You know, the new technology is better, but let's close out. Now, I do like that Bearvolt is a company that's kind of changing the game a little bit. They're adding a little bit more flare because, as we know, everybody needs more pieces of flare. So it's kind of cool to see somebody coming out with something different now if you want to kind of decorate your RV, your van build, maybe a shed or something different to kind of accent your house or more. So I would like to see the performance up just a little bit higher myself, but again, they are only 90 watts, so they are kind of in the range of what they should be as far as STC testing. If you guys want to check them out, they're on Kickstarter right now. I'll leave a link down below. Other than that, let me know what you think about these down in the comments, and I hope to see you in another video.